What's up, everyone? It's Jeremy Majors here with Majors Academy Dog Training out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, and this is Dog Behavior Q&A, episode 130. If you are new to the show, we take in any and all questions that you may have with in regards to your dog's behavior, and we try to give you the best answer I can uh, possible. For those of you who don't know, we have a YouTube channel that all of these videos will be recorded to. They're also recorded on Facebook and iTunes. So if you miss the show, you can go there and watch. Um, in addition to that, we always give out, or not give out, I guess we always make new videos on just different subjects or topics. If I have like a current theme uh, that I've been getting throughout the week, as far as phone calls, I'll discuss it. So, for example, I made a video on how to get your dog to stop running from you. Um, it's a pretty popular issue, but I had about three or four different people call me, and one of their challenges was their dog runs from them. So I kind of made a YouTube video on how to get that to stop, because that can kind of be annoying sometimes. But anyway, we're live here on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. And yeah, we're taking all your questions. So feel free to ask as many questions as you like, or give me an update on your dog, or ask for an update if you have your dog in my care currently. Ask how they're doing, or feel free to. All right, let's get started. Okay, first question. My dog barks at every dog she sees while walking, which makes the other dogs nervous. However, when she's off the leash and meeting dogs at the park, she's fine. How can I alleviate this? Same with trucks and motorcycles while on walks as well. All right, a lot of people. Hi, hello, how are you? Uh, a lot of people have this issue, and this is something that I discussed in a video as well. Your dog is barking at other dogs on leash, but off leash, the dog's fine. Okay, so if you know me, you know I talk a lot about this. Just means your dog is nervous, not being able to handle the situation or a situation, which is the other dogs, the way that it would normally if it was off leash. The dog would be able to walk away because it wouldn't be on leash. So that means the dog can handle uncomfortable situations the way that it wants to. But if it's on leash, it can't. So that's why you see some dogs nervous on leash or barking on leash. And then when you get them to the dog park or dog daycare, they're fine. So it's just a lack of options, fight or flight. But you can help that by giving your dog, getting trust out of your dog. I mean, you have to establish trust between you and the dog in order for the dog to not see that as a nervous situation. Be sure that you don't let any dogs, um, off leash dogs especially, but on leash as well, you don't let any of those dogs interact with your dog on leash, because the dog needs some space from other dogs on leash. If it's barking at other dogs, then that's what it's telling you. So when you're on leash with your dog, try and keep them away from dogs, um, and also try to establish some trust. Hi Lola, how are you? All right, thanks for your question. So yeah, that's kind of a current theme. I'll tell you a little story. I had a dog. Well, I used to work at a dog daycare, and this dog, I think the dog was named Bocephus, but the dog would get along with all dogs during the day in daycare, and then when the owners would pick him up, leash him up. If someone was coming through the lobby at the same time the dog was coming out, the dog would try to attack that person or a dog. It doesn't matter. So I just say that to say that dogs act. Not all dogs who are aggressive on leash are aggressive off leash. Not all dogs who are aggressive in their yard are aggressive uh, off their territory or off their yard. All right, keep that in mind too. Some dogs who are aggressive with their parents aren't aggressive without their parents. Sometimes vets will take dogs away from their parents and the dogs will not act aggressively. All right. Okie dokie. Next question. Anyway, any of you guys who are tuning in for the first time, we're live on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Please feel free to ask questions, dog behavior questions, doesn't matter. Remember that your questions are helping others as well with the same challenges. So don't be shy. There are no questions that are dumb. Please feel free to ask as many questions as you like. Let's keep this conversation rolling because it only helps. All right. There are people guaranteed that are um, going through the same things that you are. Okay, let's get it. Just waiting for this question to load up. And it wants to take forever too. Okay. I have to keep my kids' door shut because my dog goes up there to either pee on the bed or poop. And only our boy room on my youngest son's bed always. No other bed or room ever. He's completely attached to only me. Um, I'm not sure if this makes a difference. If we forget to shut the door, you better believe he pooped or peed in our son's bed. All right, so I definitely think that's a behavioral issue. Okay, um, it's a little weird, but it's still behavioral. Um, what I would do right away though is there could be some sort of weird like rivalry thing or marking thing. I would like to know how old your dog is, but anyway, you definitely want to make sure that dog you're also making sure that dog is growing sort of independent from you. You say that the dog is your shadow. I think that's what you said. He's completely attached to only me. Okay. So you want to push him away from that. Okay, because a lot of dogs get into this where they follow one person around, they are their shadow, they have that one person that makes everything okay. But that can backfire on you. You want to The best way to get a dog to open up to others is to sort of, in a way, create distance between you and the dog because the dog will start to open up to others to get what it gets from you. It gets what it needs from you. The cup is full with you. And so um but it needs to also be balanced with the attention that it gets from you. It shouldn't be pet all the time when it asks to be pet. So if the dog is demanding affection, you may want to, when you're ready, give the dog affection, not when it's ready. um Therefore, the dog will seek affection with others, for others. One of the things that I do to get aggressive dogs to open up to strangers is that same theory. Dogs love affection. And if you shut that down for a while, or not shut it down, but just sort of give it sparingly, then they will start to think about how they can get it. And sometimes um, that means they have to get it from others. All right. 4 years old is very old for that, too. That's that makes it even more strange. But yeah, I would that whole attached thing. Uh, excuse me. Uh, you could be keeping the dog from getting close to others in your family, and I see those two things being kind of connected in a weird way because some dogs do mark, in my opinion, out of spite. It's weird. Okay. All right. Have been sticking to your suggestions. Clovis has started daycare. Take him every day. Take him every other day. He is better, but still hard headed. Has to have the last word. Looking forward to handing him over to you. Looking forward to working with him. We'll see what we can do with that stubbornness. You know what? There's two ways to deal with a stubborn dog. And I know a lot of you, maybe most of you, maybe all of you, are dealing with a stubborn dog. And there's two ways. There's three ways, actually. There's three ways to deal with a stubborn dog. Um, and you're very welcome. Feel free to ask another question. There's three ways to deal with a stubborn dog. Okay, ready? One is to completely outlast the dog, which means just be patient. For example, if you do come through the door and your dog jumps on you, you can stand there and stand there and stand there and ignore the dog, and the dog will stop. Once it figures out that jumping is not getting the dog on is not going to get the dog what it wants. But it's going to take a long time for that. The other one is to give the dog a consequence. That will stop the behavior quicker. It could be a little more, it could be a little bit traumatic depending on the temperament of your dog. Okay, so that's the second way. And the third way is a little bit of both. You wait, or no, you correct and then you wait, or you wait and then you correct. I find for most dogs, a little both. That third one is the best way to correct any behavior. How do you know when to correct or what to correct a behavior? Behavior should be corrected, or a behavior should be corrected when it seems to be out of their control, when it seems to be obsessive. So, what's that look like? Many of you probably have a dog who obsessively looked out the car window, or obsessively has to look out the car window when you stop, when you park, when you stop at a stoplight, stop sign. I have a dog who starts to pant when that happens. When we're rolling, the dog's fine and silent. But when we stop, that triggers stress in the dog. And that should absolutely be addressed. Some people allow the dog to lick obsessively, do weird things obsessively. And you should always intervene if the dog can't control that behavior. It's just like barking. When the doorbell rings, the dog is going to bark. It's out of their control at that point. If it happens every single time, that tells you that you should intervene in that situation. You're just going to help the dog. You're going to help the dog break that obsessive cycle. Okay, because the dog is in reactionary mode. Doorbell rings, which is fine. It's okay to bark, but it should be something that you can control. That's the other thing you'll gain from stepping in is the ability to control the barking, jumping, and all that stuff when that doorbell rings. You want to have control over that because you don't want the dog barking at your friends, family, and things like that. All right, next question. Okay, boarding a 7 month old coon hound who is possessive with food and toys. Pet convincer is working pretty good, but I do take toys away. I feed her in her kennel, and my dogs know how to stay away. 7 month old coon hound. Okay, hounds are going to be food possessive. I mean, it's not, it's no surprise that that dog is food possessive. Hounds are hunting dogs, and they want to, once they possess their food, they don't want anybody to interrupt or to try and take that away. So, hounds are food driven dogs because it makes them good hunters. So, another thing I would like to talk about um, is understanding what kind of dogs you guys have. All right, this is why breeders are important. I don't, I don't, I'm not one of those people who are against breeders. Good breeders are very necessary um, for this reason. You can you can have a best friend, or you can get a dog who is who is going to fit your needs and your lifestyle and your family's needs and all that. The wrong people get the wrong breeds more times than not, and then they don't even know what they have. It's like everyone's pushing this, oh, adopt a pit bull, and they don't even know what it is. There's a terrier in there. There's a terrier in there. Do you know what that is? Terriers are hunting dogs too, which means they have specific needs, and you have to fulfill those needs. If you can't fulfill those needs, then that's not the breed for you. German shepherds, they have specific needs. They will protect. They are assertive, and unless you take control, they're going to. If you can't do that, maybe it's not the breed for you. You can't pick a breed based on their looks. I mean, I guess you can. Get a French bulldog. Huskies is another one. Jesus Christ. Yeah. A lot of people end up with huskies that should not have them. They don't know what they're getting into. You got to have a treadmill, or you got to be a runner, or you have to be very active if you have a husky. Man, they're going to drive you nuts if you don't. And also, please think twice about adding another dog to your pack. And I know that there are a lot of dogs without homes, but you also have to make sure your dog's all of your dog's needs are met. Number one need is exercise. There's an old saying that a tired dog is a good dog. Keep that dog tired. Everything else falls after that. You cannot expect a dog to do what you want, especially a young dog. You can't even expect a dog to listen to you, a young dog to listen to you, if you haven't exercised the dog. Try getting that same dog to listen to you after. Heather Ann says, don't get a Frenchie. What are you, a Frenchie breeder or something? Everybody wants a Frenchie. Okay, next question. Let's see if we've got some live. Those of you who are watching live, again, please feel free to ask as many questions as you like. Otherwise, I'm going to keep pulling them from my emails and stuff like that. Just consider the dog. That's all we're talking about. Okay, next question. My dog Zoe is a rescue dog who does not do well with new people in the house. She tries to nip only at specific people and not all the time. How can I help her better socialize? Um, you can start by taking control of the situation and not allowing your dog to take control of the situation. The dog has got to listen to you first and foremost. It's your situation, not hers. It's your territory and not hers. So that means once the dog has respect for what you say and your rules, the dog will be open to any people or all people. But until then, the dog can be specific to who it bites and doesn't bite. But the dog has to listen to you at a very high level before you can expect the dog to not try and bite people coming through the door. That's what the dog is telling you. Um, I don't feel safe about this person. I'm free to bite. And I don't care what you say. But you do have to take control in that situation. You have to show the dog that you are in charge when that door opens. It's not her territory, but it's yours. All right. Okay. Okay. How can one safely get a cage aggressive dog out of a cage slash run when they're in a boarding facility? Um, well, one thing that I do is open up the crate or cage and then walk away and then close the gate and then you can leash the dog up. The dog might just be spatially aggressive once it's out of the crate or the cage. It could be all right. So you can also leave a leash on the dog. Um, but that be careful with that, obviously. But yeah, if I have a crate aggressive dog, then you're gonna have to take your body pressure off the dog in order for the dog to come out. And if it doesn't come out, uh, then you can talk the dog out or force the dog out, one of the two. But uh, but usually, if you just back off or walk away, the dog will come out. All right. Thanks for your question. feel free to ask another. Okay, do you still do bite work class? It's geared towards mostly to build confidence. Is it geared towards mostly to build confidence? At what age would you start that? I don't do bite work class. Um, I just did that in private lessons, and you can start as early as when you bring the dog home. I saw that you're getting a new puppy, or that you got a new puppy, so congratulations on that. But you can start as long as the dog wants to chase. You can start bite work. When you coming to visit, Wallace says, "Man, whenever I'm invited. I may be coming down at the end of September. I may be coming down. I'll have a lot of time actually too. But I would uh, I would love that. That would be awesome, man. I meant to call you lately as well, man. Uh, but uh, but yeah, that would be cool. All right, that is. I should say this, and he probably doesn't want me to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Wallace Payne is undoubtedly my number one mentor that I've learned the most from, dog training wise. He just commented on my Facebook Live, and you guys should check him out. Absolutely check him out. He's a brilliant dog trainer, and I consider him my friend and have been very fortunate to spend time with him. So, yeah, that's awesome. All right. Our 7 month old boxer, Bully Mix, has always had some dog aggression issues, but since having our toddler, she's gotten way worse. Guarding the yard, guarding our son, her food. How do we work on this? Lord. Okay, hold on. Let me take a sip. Mm. All right, hold on. Let me see. Okay, let me read it again. Our 7 month old boxer Bully Mix has always had some food has had some dog aggression. I'm sorry, issues, but since having our toddler, she's gotten way worse guarding the yard, guarding our son, and guarding the food. How do we work on this? So, that dog, that dog is really young, and that dog um, needs to uh, be faced with a consequence that's going to help the dog rethink his actions. That dog thinks a dog, in my opinion, is running the show, and it shouldn't. Okay. To keep everybody safe, especially your children, the dog should respect certain things. So, first and foremost, do not free feed the dog if you are. If you are, stop. Put the food down for a 7 month old. Oh, 7 year old. Sorry. Whoa, 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 whoa. I read that wrong. 7 year old. Okay. Changes things a little bit. But um, if you have a toddler going around and the dog is guarding the food, pick up the food. Don't let the food just stay there. That's just my opinion. I would just until the toddler and the dog establish a good relationship, I would pick up the food. Okay? No more free feeding for a while. That way, the dog and the toddler can establish a good relationship. But if that food is down and the toddler and the dog um, interact with that food in a negative way, it's just going to prolong them being able to get along. So I'd pick that food up. But again, also that boxer needs to know, and it can, if it's met with the right consequence, the boxer needs to know that it's not okay to show any aggression towards that toddler. 100%. Like the dog is below the toddler on the totem pole, and it needs to know that. Like yesterday. Also, the yard, um, the sun, all that crap. I mean, it really, again, you guys need to dictate what the dog does. Um, and the dog needs to adjust and accommodate to your lifestyle. Dog's lucky to have you, lucky to be there. So you can start holding that dog's behavior accountable. Give the dog a consequence, whether it, I don't care what you do or what you, whatever. The dog needs to learn that it's not okay. Okay. Point blank, period. All right. Um, yeah, that's all I got. Please feel free to reach out if you want more help. But I'm sensitive about children and dogs. Okay. How would you forcefully take the dog out if they don't come out? With a leash, or you can pick up the back of the crate. If you come to ATL, Maisie and I could meet you for a refresher session. You betcha. That'd be cool. She's aggressive to the toddler, mostly other dogs that come close to him. Well, yeah, that's okay. I mean, the dog is protecting the toddler. That's cool. But again, your what you say should go. Um, um, if your dog, if you don't want your dog to be aggressive, then you have to get your dog to listen to you when you say no or go away or stop, and the dog has to respect those things. Then the aggression will stop. But if your dog doesn't respect those things, then it's free to be protective, and that's okay. I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world. But okay, what are some great exercises I can do with my German Shepherd? He is finally getting fetched down, but trying to find some more mentally stimulating ideas. Okay, so what you can do is throw the dog, throw the, put the dog in a down by your side, throw the ball, throw the ball or whatever it's fetching, and try and keep the dog in a down until the ball or toy land on the ground, and then release the dog. All right, and then you can put the dog in the down and walk away from the dog, and then call the dog to you, and then throw the ball or the ball or the toy. Uh, or just challenge the dog in obedience. Um, put the dog in a down in your house and open the door. You know what I mean? Um, those are all things that are very going to be very challenging for your dog. Or do this: throw the toy or ball in high grass, and then release the dog and let the dog sniff it out. That's a pretty cool game. Throw the ball in the dark and watch your dog find it and bring it back to you. It's pretty cool. Lola is doing amazing, tolerates the boys so well. What are some great exercises I could do with my shepherd? He's one Mowgli, my bully, and Lola are much lazier than him. All right, I have to keep my kid. Oh, already answered that. Okay, I think I got them all. Okay, cool. So yeah, man. Um, listen, I have a aggression checklist. Obviously, it's not just for aggressive dogs, but it is mostly for aggressive dogs. All right. Remember that you can stop behaviors of uh, less damaging behaviors, and then you'll never see aggression, like jumping, barking, constant barking, um, pacing, uh, growls. All these behaviors that your dogs are showing. If you can get them to stop, dog will never bite. If the dog doesn't think it's okay to jump, it certainly won't think it's okay to bite. If you can get your dog to stop barking when you say stop barking, guaranteed the dog won't bite. So again, there are some behaviors that need to be stopped before the bite to never get the aggression. Okay. Sarah says, how do you find the balance between acceptable protective behavior and not acceptable? How do you communicate that to dogs? You say no, or stop, or go lay down. That's how you communicate it. And how you find the balance is if it's warranted. If your mom comes through the door, no need to be protective. Go lay down. If there's a stranger at the door, you don't want to answer the door, go ahead, bark your head off. You see what I'm saying? I don't Most people want their dogs to bark. It's part of having a dog, but then you have to be able to convey to the dog that it's friend and not foe when it actually is a friend. You don't want your dog barking at your mother, your friends, it's embarrassing. Open the door, dog runs out, circles the person, maybe bites the person. So, let's see. What do I got in my kennel now? I got a Malinois, Belgian Malinois, pit bull, both dog aggressive, and human. I would say they're very nervous about humans. Uh, I have a Vizsla, about a 1-year-old Vizsla. Um, and then I have a poodle who's afraid of everything. And what we do here, our number one goal is to get the dog to listen to a human before it listens to itself. When bad behavior occurs, they're doing something to sort of preserve their own wants and safety. So it's important that they spend time with a person that addresses the first sign of insecurity so that it never escalates to a bad situation. And here's an example. If you're walking your dog and your dog looks at another dog in a nervous way, and you know your dog is nervous about dogs. You know your dog is reactive about dogs or people, doesn't matter. Do not allow your dog to stare at whatever it's nervous of or nervous about. Because if you do, then you are allowing the dog to potentially blow up and do something stupid. When the dog is staring at something like that, the dog is telling you it needs you to intervene because the dog's going to take care of the situation. It feels the need to do so. Up, here comes the dog. I'm nervous. Start pulling, barking, growling. The dog's going to look at it first, though. And that first moment when it looks is when it needs information from you. No, heel, let's go. It needs you to step in. And sometimes that's easier said than done. So we show people how to do that, how to reach your dog. You know what I mean? Hi, Danny. How are you? Heard you were in Wisconsin, but still so far away. I had to look at where you guys were because if you were close, uh, we would have had to come visit. All right. Let's check YouTube. Daycare reports that he is respectful, appropriate of small dogs. At home, he is not appropriate with 10-pound housemate. Yeah. Yeah, middle of nowhere. Yeah, it seemed like it. um, okay, next question. I gave Jake, the German Shepherd, a bone the other day for the first time. He got possessive, not growling or anything, but hiding the bone under him and not listening when I called him. Suggestions: keep a leash on the dog. A safe way to get the dog to get away from that bone would just be to keep the leash on the dog until you guys can get that certain situation addressed. Which just means the dog has got to learn how to respect what you say. When you say come, the dog should come, no matter what. Come should be a command that's kind of non-negotiable. Not kind of. It should be non-negotiable for their safety. It gives them a whole bunch of freedom. You can then allow your dog to be off leash a lot if you have a good recall. So uh, definitely be a good one to uh, to master. All right, start with that. Okay, let's see. Oh, Instagram. Okay, our dog Blue has started becoming leash aggressive on our walks if I'm not in the middle between her and the other dog. Any suggestions? I'm thinking of signing up for an aggressive dog training course. Um, we can definitely talk more about that too. I want to lead you in the right direction when it comes to that kind of stuff. And feel free to pass along any trainers that you come across in Atlanta. I may have some people that I suggest, but um, bottom line is you have to make sure the dog is doing something to help occupy its fear or nervousness. And that means that you may have to ask for more um, obedience on the walk in order to gain trust. Because again, what happens is the dog is lacking that um, guidance because it is in fear of what pressure has maybe been put on the dog in its past. So leash aggression always is tough on some dogs again because they were taking their ability away to go away, to walk away from conflict or unwanted pressure, and so for a while, I would suggest not to allow other dogs to come close to the dog. Maybe cross the street when you see other dogs, but um, it's not a really good rule anyway. Sometimes, it's cute to meet dogs on leash, but sometimes it can go wrong, and then you will have a leash fearful slash maybe aggressive dog. So if that person is coming up with that retractable leash and they are saying, "Can my dog say hi?" You're gonna have to say no. It's good to say no. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, I can help you too online as well. I mean, you don't even have to hire a trainer. I can help you first. If you need additional help, maybe then we can find a trainer, but good trainers are hard to find. So let me know anytime. Okay. Um, yeah. but that's about it. I mean, leash aggression is simple in concept, but it's pretty tough. Again, the consistency is going to be key on getting trust, gaining trust. Uh, but the dog does have to respect some rules on the walk. Just trying to show the dog that it doesn't have to act that way. You know what I mean? It's communication. At the end of the day, how do we communicate to our dogs that if I say it's okay, it's actually okay? But we do have to make it okay too. We can't have leash off leash dogs or on leash dogs be able to come on up if they're nervous. If they're nervous, that means they need space. We need to make space, but we also need to give rules. Once we give rules and can give space, then the dog can trust and actually maybe one day um, be more than okay when it sees another dog on leash. So there we go. All right. Maybe one or two more questions. If you guys want to ask any questions live, again, all these questions will help other people as well. So don't be shy. Okay. Ready? When guests come over, I put dog in place command, but he still barks and growls at first. What's the best way to stop this? Well, I would say um, that if the dog does go to place and is barking and growling at place, at your bed, at on its bed, the dog is doing something that's really tough. So I would be okay with that if it kind of goes away, and it'll go away with time. Um, but all the dog has to do, the dog already is doing. The dog's already listening to you. So that barking and growling on the bed is totally fine for now. But what you can do is every dog knows this. You don't have to go through a trainer. You don't even have to teach it. But if your dog is on their bed and their head is up, right, ears perked, staring, you can tell the dog down despite already being, despite already laying down, and the dog will start to relax more. It may even put its head down. That's a good goal to strive for. So all of you out there who has a dog that can go to its bed and you see it getting nervous about the window, the mailman, the door, or not even nervous, just excited, and that head perks up, you can say down, and the dog will go to a level closer to relaxation. Some dogs will even put their head down. All right, I teach all my clients that. It's good. Some trainers call it the double down. Okay, next question. When is it appropriate to use an e-collar with a young dog? What age? The age at which the dog knows all of the commands. That's when. The e-collar is not a tool to teach. It is a tool to proof what it already knows, what the dog already knows. So once the dog knows what sit means, down means, stay, come, no, leave it, off, go to your bed. Once the dog all knows all those commands, then it's okay to train the dog with an e-collar. The e-collar again is there to do what the leash does. Same thing. Hi, Michael. Um, the e-collar is there to do what the leash does. What do we do with the leash? If the dog doesn't sit, or if the dog, let's just say, if the dog doesn't come, we grab the leash and then we make the dog come. Okay? The e-collar is the same way. The e-collar is just an invisible leash. We use it the same way. So, is there to proof, not to teach. I appreciate that, Michael. Uh, I told Danny, let me know. I cannot believe you guys were in Wisconsin, though. It scared me because I thought you guys were closer than that. But it seems like you guys were far away. Anywho, okay, I'll give you an age range. I mean, I would say, well, see, look, listen, if you got a dog, if you got a puppy, there's really no need for any tools besides the leash and their collar. If you got a puppy, you know what? The dog has no baggage to work from, and you have all the time in the world. That's the other thing. With these grown-up dogs, they'll need some time. They don't have much time. Hi, Rachel. How are you? Um, the reason why we use tools is because we we only have so much time. We don't have that much time, or people don't want to spend that much money, right? Like I can train any dog to do or past any behavior if I had enough time with no tools, but it would take a lot longer. So that's why the tools are there. People don't have time. Make sure you guys have spend time. That is the number one thing that's going to um, help your dog. All right, one more question. If you guys are watching live, feel free to ask as many questions as you like. I got one more question on through my email that I'm going to answer, but feel free to get that last one in, you guys. Okay, how do you deal with clients who have human aggressive dogs that wants to do a board and train? Do you have the client conditioned with the muzzle? How does the dog eat during the board and train? Do you remove the muzzle? Well, me personally, I don't use muzzles. Only for very, very specific things like getting the dog to be okay with nail trimming. But other than that, I don't use muzzles. So you may be able to, if you want to do it that way, you may be able to. Obviously, yes, it would be good to condition your dog or have them condition their dog to muzzle. But you may want to have meet the dog a couple times before it comes to your board and train. But also, the dog may be okay once the parents go away. The dog may not be aggressive, is what I'm trying to say, towards you once the parents go away. So you may be able to take the muzzle off and on and stuff like that. Maybe. But again, I don't really use muzzles unless I'm trying to get the dog used to uh grooming or vet examination. Things of that nature. Okay, Rachel. How do I get our dog to calm down when new people come over? Our dog is a little Rachel and tends to get very protective. Hair standing up and barks with his tail wagging. when someone comes in the door. I typically tell him to sit and let the people approach him, but they walk towards me and he tries to nip their feet. I've spanked his butt and told him no and caged him, but he's still doing it. Okay, so why don't you start off putting him in the cage, in the crate? And then once he is silent in that crate, then he can come out. But it may just be that initial people coming on the territory that he doesn't know that he has a problem with. So a solution, not the best solution, but a solution would be to put him in the crate when you hear the door, um, and then leave him in there, like for it or for as long as it takes. As long as it takes for him to calm his butt down, then he can come out. But not until then. It's a territory thing. I'm gonna try it. Yes, it is. You let me know how it goes. All right. All right, you guys. I'm gonna get out of here, but give me a like, thumbs up, whatever you got to do. I really appreciate you guys watching. We'll be here next week, same time, and come with your questions or tell your friends, tell your moms, tell your papas, whoever who has a dog that's bad. Bring them my way, and we'll help them out. Thank you guys for watching. Okay, bye. Whoa. What in the? Okay, how do I stop this? Hello, hello, hello.